Hi everybody, Creative Katie. Today is day 5 and the prompt is kawaii, which I guess are those little Japanese creatures, not my thing, or cute. So what I have is I found in and amongst all of my printables and things that I have in my collection, I found this owl and it says Hoot Hoot Hooray. So I am going to use that as my starting point. You know, you need a starting point. So then I went and I decided, you know, I'm going to go through my jelly prints because again, this weekend I sorted through them and I really like kind of that, gives a kind of a nighttime look. So the joy of having your jelly prints or colored papers is it really saves time. So when you don't have a lot of time to create but you want to get in there and do something, you know, it's kind of like a ready-made background, and I love that. You know, it saves time. So that's another way, you know, if you do jelly printing or even just painting, do colored papers, paint them and stamp them and have them at the ready, you are going to be able to. And that's kind of like a moon up there. I think I'm gonna go for that look. This print here, this Ray print, that is actually the lid of Tupperware containers on a jelly plate. So yeah, I found it at the thrift store, and it's wonderful to have that. It makes it a very interesting print. So there's a little bit of banging going on here. We got repair guys fixing up things and doing things. So I just thought I'd steal away while other people are occupied and get something done here. You can also do a whole series of backgrounds and have them ready to go. Just do it right on your index cards or whatever substrate you are using for this challenge, and have them ready to go. You know, you're okay, so that is looking good in my eyes. Now, do I want to add anything else to this? You know, you're not really going, I should have put that up a little bit more. I think he's going to be kind of half on, half off. I think I'll paint my branch in. And what I'm going to do here to get rid of that is I'm just going to put some white gesso. Kind of behind it. So I'm going to use my Stabilo all pencil, the white one that I have. They come in other colors. I think I'm just going to put him, is there room for my kind of get my composition here all I think that's going to be it. So I'm just going to outline in here. Now this comes off with water. What I'm going to do is just put a gesso behind it because I don't want, this is on tissue paper, and I do not want it to, I don't want to see it through the tissue paper or the deli paper that the owl is on. So I'm just going to kind of white this out to have like a neutral. So even if I had painted this background, I could do this before I paint the flowers, the whatever color I want it on top of this background. So you know, I think I'm going to have to do another little bit of a coat here, and that's fine. If you are doing the challenge, I hope you'll come and, you know, join my Facebook group where lots of people are posting what they're doing for Daisy Yellow's challenge. You know, different people are doing different things. Some are following prompts, some aren't, some are doing half and half like me. You know, each to their own, based on whatever you can do. You can do some of them. You always have time to play. So, that's there. And if it wrinkles a bit, I'm going to say that's feather texture. The eyes on this are kind of remind me of the kawaii creatures, the Japanese creatures that like this, that's where the term comes from. So oh, there we go. I'm blowing them around here. Hoot, hoot, hooray. So I have my branch here. And I could have whited out with gesso first. And different brown. medium again. I plan to go over this lettering with my own color. I'm not sure what yet, but okay. So started coloring here, painting it, and just decided I'm gonna just kind of winging it. I don't know what colors I want. I know that the orange is kind of right across from the blue, so I'm using burnt sienna because it has kind of that rusty orangey color to it. But beyond that, I do not have a definitive plan. So I'm just putting paint on the side here and just kind of using that. So see. You know, and I'm mixing, I've got some straight up, some mixed with white, some, you know, different colors, and that's just going to give like automatic kind of shading to your project. You could use your watercolor crayons for this if you like. Pretty much the sky is the limit. I think I'm gonna if you are, you know, if you've got your markers and that's how you prefer coloring things in, go for it. Paint doesn't flow, add a little water. Go from there. A little bit there. Thinking it needs to be darker here. So this is what people do when you can't draw. So I'm just going to use my Posca pen as I go into double speed here. This gets quite lengthy, and I just thought there's not a whole lot of technical stuff here. I am just outlining just to make this pop and stand out against the background. Usually I prefer to do with the Stabilo all pencil for a more shaded look, and you'll see what I do later on to add further to this, but I wanted to give this the definition of the different parts of the owl back. As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I could take this owl and cut the eyes and the part around the eyes and the feathers and the wing, and I could do this with jelly print. So maybe that'll be another project for another day. But this owl is very, very, very cute. So just giving him some of his claws hanging onto the branch a little bit. I guess the other claws are behind the Hooray. Now, initially I was going to put the letters, I was going to paint with gold. And then I'm thinking the black stands out quite enough, and it kind of goes with the black that I just outlined with. So that's what I'm doing with that. And I'm just tracing over top of the letters that have been stamped into, if it's deli paper or tracing paper. I'm not sure which, because like I said, this has been in my stash for a while. I'm just making the edges crisp and making it a little bit bolder. For outlining, I really do like the Posca pen. It's bold enough. I find I have more success with it than the Micron pens. But they are bolder, and you have to know that. So each has its own purpose. Many times, I would grab my liner brush and thin just black acrylic paint or whatever color acrylic paint and just thin that down and use my liner brush. Again, that's a throwback to the days when I did folk art painting. And you can see the deli paper or whatever around the letters. Now, I don't mind that, but if you did not want to see that, what you could do is just take a very thin wash of acrylic paint or watercolor, probably blue that matches the background, and just go over it, and it's going to disappear to a greater degree. I don't think you're going to totally get rid of it, but it would kind of get all, it wouldn't be as apparent, and it would push it to the back. But you would do that before you use the Posca pen. The Posca pen, I find, isn't 100% waterproof. It will, you can rub it off, which is good if you make a mistake, but you need to know that when you're doing other layers on top of it. As this is sitting here, I'm thinking, oh, I really like this. I chose to paint the eyes blue to match the background. So now I'm just grabbing my stylus, and I have some white acrylic paint off to the side that I had used earlier when I painted the owl to lighten the browns. And I'm just dabbing and putting the speck in the eye. And this just gives the owl such personality. I'm really quite happy. Take a good close look at this owl now, because I could be done at this point in time, but I do go a few extra steps and with shading, and you can compare. So you can come back to this point and see what it's like and decide if that's something you like it before or after. There is no right or wrong. It's what you like. So here I am getting out a little bit of the black acrylic paint, and I have my angle brush, and I am going to do some floating, which is kind of shading. And this is a throwback to my folk art days where I did shading, and I'll put a link to the mixed media technique tag video where I talk about shading and outlining, and I give more step-by-step instruction on how to do this. The benefit to this over the Stabilo oil pencil or some of those things is this is acrylic paint, so when it's dry it is permanent, and I just really like the effect. It's hard to get a handle of this because you need to get just the right amount of paint and just the right amount of water, but once you do, the sky's the limit, and you can really add a lot of interest to your paintings. Gives a little bit more dimension. Now you can do this with a straight flash brush as well. By rights, I should have done this before I did the Posca pen, but I'm being careful, and I'm not really rubbing, so I don't really reactivate the Posca pen. And I could have used a very dark brown or mixed black and brown at any point in time in here. I just did the whole thing with black. And I think, so if you go back to that last pot and compare, put them side to side. I wish I had taken pictures so I could have that comparison, but I didn't. Lastly, we're just going to do some edging in the black. And there we have it. Day 5 done. See you for day 6.